What is going on, guys? You got Tone here, the coach of the Maine Red Clawitzers, and I am bringing you week 1 of the CPC Season 3 Offseason, where we are up against African Goku, coach of the Portland Greninjas. Now, before I go any further into this battle or into the team in general, I just want to say a couple of things. Once again, I know I said this in my last video, but my channel just hit 50 subscribers, and I thank you guys so much for the support. I know I only officially started my channel a few months back from when I had my crappy microphone and all that stuff, but I feel as though as a content creator, PokeTuber, and me immersing myself in draft league format, I feel as though I've met a lot of great people. I've immersed myself in a lot of different leagues and whatnot. I met a bunch of great battlers. I learned from a lot of people, so I try to pick up as much as I can. Hopefully I try to influence it in my battles, and hopefully I hope you guys find these battles that I try to do as entertaining as possible. But more importantly, I do want to win, but at the same time I also want to have fun while I'm doing it. So with that out of the way, me thanking everyone for their support. So with that out of the way now, I am going to jump right into this match. This is week 1 against the Portland Greninjas, like I said in the beginning. Also to start out, this will not be a 12-week off season. The CPC off season has been divided into phases. So instead of fighting a 12-week season, for the first phase at least, we'll be playing everyone in our division. I'll be playing everyone in my division twice. So after this battle against African Goku, I will be playing him again, and I'll be playing the other two people in my division twice. And the top 2 teams in each division move on to phase number 2. So with that being said, now I had to prep for the Portland Greninjas, and their team, his 11 mons are Circuitry, Tapu Bulu, Mimikyu, Registeel, Mega Alakazam, Alolan Marowak, Beware, Turtonator, Wishiwashi, and Toxapex and the Silvally. So looking at his team, he does have some threats, but he does have some flaws to the team, mainly aside from, I'm not gonna bash him because he drafted 9 new Pokemon. I know people want to use new Pokemon and try them out and whatnot, but at the same time, I don't really know about synergy as much in terms of his 11 Pokemon. And on top of that, he also does not have any hazard removal on this team, and there's also no real ground immunity. Like, his only ground resist is Tapu Bulu, and everything else is hit neutrally by EQ or Earth Power or whatnot. So I tried to exploit this as much as possible. In terms of my prep, I couldn't really prep as much as I wanted to because this past couple of weeks has been pretty hectic. I finished my final exams a couple of days back, and then I got swamped with like housework and other stuff, so I didn't really have time to build as thoroughly as I wanted to, but I felt still the team that I brought in this battle was good enough to at least have the best chance to win against the Portland Greninjas. So just to break down the team that I brought in this battle, the first Pokemon you see is the Azumarill. This is not huge power. This is my Tapu Bulu response in Sap Sipper Azumarill, rocking Rest, Sleep Talk, Scald, and Encore. Fully physically defensive. This is my way of dealing with Tapu Bulu, potentially burning with a Scald. If he tries to set up, I have Encore in the back. So there's not much else to explain here. I initially wanted to run Parashong plus Whirlpool, as it does do a great job of like baiting in not only Tapu Bulu, but also baits in Toxapex. as Toxapex can eat up any hit from Azumarill for days. And even if Toxapex sets up toxic spikes, I did bring the Nidoking so we can absorb those toxic spikes, so it's not that big of a deal. So, fully physically defensive Azumarill, no, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. Next up is the Licky, fully specially defensive, so I can switch in on the Xurkitree, Mega Alakazam, stuff like that. Rockin' Wish, Protect, Knock Off, and Earthquake. Knock off 2 KOs. Xurkitree, it hits the Registeel, hits the Alolan Marowak. I can knock off a Alolan Marowak's Thick Club and potentially cripple it for the remainder of the match. And knock off to hit the Mega Alakazam, the Marowak. Like I said, I can knock off some items. I can use it to break Mimikyu's disguise, stuff like that. So like I said, this Licky is my Xurkitree response, my Mega Alakazam switch-in. I can weaken it with Knock Off, Earthquake. It's really the only coverage I needed in terms of... It's the only coverage I needed for the rest of his team, because even though Knock Off plus EQ is... Sorry about that. Knock Off plus EQ does not do much at Tapu Bulu. I do have Azumarill as a switch-in. So, moving on now, we have the Nidoking rocking Life Orb, Toxic Spikes, 3 attacks. Now, I looked at his team as a whole, and it turns out that Nidoking absolutely puts in amazing work against this team. Like, just looking at his team, like, everything on it is just destroyed by Nidoking stabs. Just to run it down: Xurkitree, Earth Power; Tapu Bulu, Sludge Wave; Mimikyu, Sludge Wave; Registeel, Earth Power; Mega Alakazam, I have Sucker Punch on this Nidoking; Alolan Marowak, Earth Power; Beware, if he's not a Assault Vest, potential 2 KO on the switch; Turtonator, Earth Power; Wishy-Washy, I have Sludge Wave on the switch. I could potentially knock it out of Schooling Form. Toxapex, Earth Power; and Savali says he lacks recovery. I can wear it down with Sludge Wave if he's not a bulky set. So if I get Toxic Spikes up, and he didn't bring Toxapex, so Toxic Spikes plus 3 attacks seem like the best option here, as I didn't really need anything else on Nidoking for the most part, as Sludge Wave plus Earth Power takes care of a good portion of his team, and Sucker Punch is for the Mega Alakazam, as with some chip damage, and if he's not running any defense, any HP investment on his Alakazam, which I will assume he will, as my team is kind of slow, Sucker Punch can potentially knock out Mega Alakazam with some chip damage, which is very, very nice. So, moving on now to my 4th Pokemon, we have Tank Heatran rocking Stealth Rock, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, and Earth Power with the Chople Berry. Chople Berry lets me take a super effective fighting attack, so I can take a superpower from a Tapu Bulu, retaliate with a Flamethrower. If it's not running investment, I knock it out. This is also my check to the Mimikyu. It's also my response to Mega Alakazam, as I'm pretty sure I can take a Focus Blast from I can take 1 Focus Blast from a Mega Alakazam if need be, while I'm running up speed on my Heatran to outspeed a Jolly Max Speed Alolan Marowak, just in case he brought Alolan Marowak and it was a speedy variant, like a Jolly Max Speed variant. Decided just to outspeed that. I know it's not really common, but I didn't want to take any chances. So Heatran's job is just to come in, tank hits, get up rocks, and just wear down his team. Number 5, we got Mega Houndoom here with Substitute, Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, and Sucker Punch. Now, the nice thing about Mega Houndoom is it also puts in a ton of work. Like, Mega Houndoom plus Nidoking just puts a ton of pressure on his team. If I weaken Wishy-Washy and I weaken, or if I break Mimikyu's disguise and I get some chip damage on Xurkitree, Mega Houndoom by itself just puts in the work against this team. And considering how powerful Mega Houndoom is, I get up a free sub on anything that doesn't want to stand on Mega Houndoom, which is great. So I get up a free sub and a free attack all in one, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm rigging up speed on my Houndoom to outspeed Mimikyu. Yeah, to outspeed an adamant max speed Mimikyu. And the rest, max special attack, rest in attack. So there's that. And last but not least, we have Latias, rocking Defog, Roost, Psychic, and Shadow Ball. Nothing real fancy here. Just in case they got a little bit carried away, if he brought the Toxic Spikes on the Toxapex and Nidoking was gone, I get his Defog away the hazards. Nothing real fancy. Psychic and Shadow Ball just to give some good coverage. And even if he does go for the even if he switches into Registeel on my Latias, I can just hard switch into Nidoking or Heatran or whatever. So yeah, so that's the team I'm bringing against the Portland Greninjas. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into the battle here, as I've been rambling for the last 10 minutes. So looking at his team, I feel as though Mega Houndoom would be the best lead overall, as I pretty much pressure the Registeel. I'm assuming he would lead it off with Registeel so he'd get up rocks early and pressure my team, especially my Houndoom, and I need to make sure that rocks are off the field. So I decided to lead off with a Mega Houndoom, but unfortunately he leads off with a Wishy-Washy, and I know that I cannot stay on a Wishy-Washy, so I go out into my Wishy-Washy switching, which is a Zoom Roll. He goes for the Hydro Pump here, does nothing. So now I know he's especially offensive, so I go for the Encore here, just to lock him into Hydro Pump. So now I get a free Scald here for free, as he goes into Alakazam, as I get the Scald off. That's a decent amount of damage, and I'm going to pause right here, because that chip damage is actually perfect, because if he doesn't have any hit points, if he doesn't have any HP invested in his Mega Alakazam, he is 100% in range now of my Nidoking Sucker Punch, because I am running mixed Nidoking with some attack to make sure that Sucker Punch does at least 76% damage to Mega Alakazam, which is absolutely perfect. But don't want to stay in, as I still need my Azumarill for Tapu Bulu and the Wishy-Washy here. So I'm just going to make the safe switch into the Licky Licky as he gets his Mega Evolution off and reveal that he is a Calm Mind variant. Now this is a scary proposition here, because Calm Mind Mega Alakazam versus this particular team actually puts in a lot of work, especially if he weakens my Licky Licky. So if I lose my Licky Licky here, the play would be to go into either Nidoking or Houndoom, Sucker Punch, and hope he doesn't have Substitute, or he just Calm Mind up or whatnot. But Calm Mind Mega Alakazam was a threat, and hopefully for me, my Licky Licky could take a Focus Blast from a +1 Mega Alakazam, which was a tall order, but I felt like Licky Licky could handle it. So goes for the Focus Blast. I live on 8%, and I go for the knockoff here, and I get the crit. Unfortunate. It was a very unfortunate crit there. So he got the special defense drop as well from the Focus Blast. Now, the crit did matter, because I knew it would live otherwise, because I'm not running any attack investment. But Mega Alakazam out of the way so early is absolutely great for me. But at the same time, now that I've taken Licky Licky has taken so much damage, I can no longer check the circuitry. So now he takes the advantage of that. It goes into the circuitry, had no choice but to sack off Licky Licky to the Energy Ball. Now here, to get the Beast Boost, boosting his special attack, I probably made a misplay here, because I should have went to Heatran here, just in case he was a Choice Scarf variant, because he went for Energy Ball. And if he switched out, it would confirm to me right then and there that he was indeed Scarf Circuitry. At the same time, I didn't want to take any chances and went directly to my Nidoking, even though I knew Nidoking put in a lot of work against this team. I couldn't risk it, and I felt as though if he wasn't a Scarf Circuitry, I outsped, and Earth Power was doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, he was Scarf, and luckily for me, I do live the Earth Power, and I unfortunately crit the Circuitry too and knock that out as well. So now in comes the Mimikyu here. I know I cannot stay in because I still need Nidoking around for the Earth to Earth Power Registeel, Sludge Wave, the Tapu Bulu. So I go out, I make a hard read into my Heatran on the obvious Shadow Sneak, doing absolutely nothing. He goes for the Sword Stance here to break the Mimikyu's that with the Earth Power. Now I knew I could take a +2 Shadow Claw from a Mimikyu as he gets the crit, but I live thanks to my investment and I take it out with a Flash Cannon. So we're looking pretty here, 5-3. Wishy-Washy comes back out here, go back out into my Azumarill here as he goes for Aqua Ring this turn. I figured I need to take advantage of this. I go for Encore one more time. Now he's locked into Aqua Ring. He's forced to switch out into either his Registeel or Tapu Bulu. He goes on to Tapu Bulu here as I go for the free Scald. Doesn't do anything. I don't get to burn this turn. That's fine. But because he's on Tapu Bulu here, I do get Grassy Terrain recovery. If he unfortunately misses a Stone Edge, I go for another Scald. I have no reason not to at this point. But now he decides to hit the Stone Edge. Doesn't do anything here. I go for Scald one more time, hoping for the burn, and I don't get the burn. But I do get leftovers and Grassy Terrain recovery, so it's a losing battle for him as he's forced to switch out into his Wishy-Washy here as I go for another Scald, and this time I get the burn. Very bad timing on my part, but heck, it didn't matter here. Now here I'm making a little bit of a questionable play, and I went hard into my Latias here, hoping he would Hydro Pump me, but he decides to go for Ice Beam. And that kind of caught me off guard because I figured that I saw Hydro Pump. I knew he would have Ice Beam, but I didn't think he would use that in that situation unless he was trying to hard read my Nidoking. But I mean, it didn't really matter because I knew I could take another Ice Beam from a Wishy-Washy in school form. So what I decided to do is in this situation is Latias was the most expendable member of my team at this point. So I decided to weaken Wishy-Washy to the point where my Mega Houndoom can then come in and clean up late game, because if I get any amount of damage off on Wishy-Washy here, or to the point where it dies to a Dark Pulse, then Houndoom can just Dark Pulse Wishy-Washy, Fire Blast deals with Tapu Bulu and the Registeel, and that's going to be game. So I played aggro offensive here. I could have roosted here this turn, but I didn't want to risk Ice Beam potentially freezing my Latias, so I just go for the safe Psychic here. That's Grassy Terrain ends. Go for the Psychic. It doesn't do much, but that's fine. I miss doing this for damage as he goes for Ice Beam, but he has to get the freeze. I'm going to go for Psychic one more time just to get that extra damage I need, as Wishy-Washy takes out my Latias with the next Ice Beam. But now I get to go back out into my Houndoom and get my Mega Evolution off and get up a free Dark Pulse, which is what I do here. Down goes Wishy-Washy. Now in comes the Registeel. Now here I decided that has already won, but just in case, I decided instead of going directly for Fire Blast, I go for the Substitute. And I went for Substitute for two reasons. One, to scout and see if he was a Thunder Wave Registeel, and two, if he did attack me, what would he go for? He could have been Seismic Toss, it could have been Earthquake, it could have been a bunch of things. So I go for Substitute here, and he reveals that he's Hammer Arm. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I know I can at least weaken this for my Heatran. So do Fire Blast, clean to a KO, you go for Hammer Arm, and I live. Thank you, thank you with the 0 HP investment. Taking out the French Shield with the next Fire Blast. The last Pokemon is Tapu Bulu. I go for Fire Blast, I connect, and that isn't going to be good game. So, ended up being a 4-0 win in my favor for week 1 of the CPC Offseason. It did suck with the Circuitry crit and the Mega Alakazam crit. I'm sorry that it worked out. It went that way because I hate matches where the fact that stuff is beyond your control. Hacks is part of the game. Crits are part of the game. I came into this wanting to win, but at the same time I was also playing this battle 6, so I was kind of all over the place with my plays, and I kind of feel as though I got a little bit sloppy there with the way I handled my Latias and whatnot. But I felt as though, as a whole, I played pretty decently. Could did things a little bit differently, but Mega Houndoom did come through in the end, picking up 3 kills. Nidoking getting a kill on the unfortunate Circuitry, and then Licky Licky getting the unfortunate crit kill on the Mega Alakazam, and Heatran killing the Mimikyu. So there's that. We win 4-0. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys enjoyed the battle, feel free to hit the like button and feel free to leave a comment down below in the description. I will link you to the CPC channel and all that other good stuff. So hope you guys enjoy the battle, like I said, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays, as this might be one of the last few videos that I make for 2016. And with that, happy holidays, and until the next time, my name is Anthony, aka Tone. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. Later.